Welcome to the ObjectFX demo on creating KML files using Google Earth. This demo will show you how to capture geographical data from Google Earth to create reference feature and dynamic feature KML datasets for use in an ObjectFX SpatialRules example application. In Google Earth, I'm going to begin by zooming into an area on the map and adding a polygon. This polygon is going to be the input reference feature data for the SpatialRules example. In SpatialRules, reference features are normally defined as objects that rarely change geographically, such as a landmark, exclusive economic zone, or political boundary. To save this polygon as a KML file, right-click on it under Places, choose Save Place As, and save with the KML file type. The saved KML file is now ready to be input into a SpatialRules example application as the reference feature. Next, I'm going to add a random number of placemark points on the map in and around the area of the polygon I just created. Note that I purposely named each placemark the same. This is important since I want SpatialRules to identify these placemarks as a moving object. In other words, I want to show movement of an object along a path. I will manually add a timestamp element for each placemark later. These placemarks will be the input dynamic feature data for the SpatialRules example. In SpatialRules, dynamic features are generally defined as objects that change or interact frequently with other objects, for example, a vehicle or airplane. After creating all of the placemark features, I'm going to add them into one KML file. The easiest way to do this is to start with the first or earliest placemark in the sequence and copy it into a text editor. Then copy the subsequent placemarks in sequential order into the file and remove the duplicate KML, document, and style elements that are not needed. I only keep the placemark element for each subsequent feature. Once this is completed, I can manually add a timestamp element for each placemark. This is optional for the SpatialRules example, since the current system date time will be used for each feature if no date is provided in the KML. If you don't want to add a timestamp for each element, I recommend adding an ID for each placemark to distinguish them. After saving the new file with the KML file extension, it will be ready for use in the SpatialRules example application. This concludes the demo for how to use Google Earth to create KML files for an ObjectFX SpatialRules example application. We recommend viewing the Getting Started with SpatialRules demo, which will provide an overview of SpatialRules and will include running an example with these KML files.